So you guys have probably heard by now, but it seems like America's favorite bromance is coming to an end. And it has been our least favorite kind of breakup, which is very messy and very public. And now us kids are caught in the middle, trying to figure out what's going on and just trying to get everybody to calm down. That's right, Elon Musk and Donald Trump have had a very public falling out, and it seems to have started with Musk's very loud disagreement with the big, beautiful bill. So we are going to look at how this all played out and get into some theories about what might actually be going on here, because just based on who these two are and what they've been trying to accomplish in the last few months, I think there is a possibility that they are pushing a game of 5D chess and they are playing us all. Or there is the possibility that Elon Musk is actually mad and that the parting of ways is legitimate. So I don't know. You guys are going to have to tell me what you think. But before we get too much further, please hit the like button on this video and subscribe to my channel. I appreciate you so much for doing both of those things. Now, if you spend way too much time on social media like I do when you should be doing things like folding laundry and feeding your kids, I started to see Elon's tweets early a couple of days ago, and he had gone from this like very agreeable tone with the administration that he had been working alongside for months and saying that he hoped to continue this working relationship and working with Trump and the Republican Party, to being very, very upset about this BBB, to going absolutely nuclear on President Trump. And I just don't know that my head has ever spun so fast. So this downward spiral seemed to start with this particular tweet. It says, "I'm sorry," and this is from Elon Musk. It says, "I'm sorry, but I just can't stand it anymore. This massive, outrageous, pork-filled congressional spending bill is a disgusting abomination. Shame on those who voted for it. You know you did wrong. You know it." To be fair, I think what Elon is saying there about a spending bill in general is what most of us have been feeling for a long time. Every time these massive spending bills are passed, whether it's from Republicans or Democrats, it just seems to push us further down this path that we have been trying to get away from for a long time. So he is not wrong in his anger, especially when a lot of his participation in this administration, sorry, I just bit my tongue, so that word came out weird, in this administration has been focused on cutting spending and cutting waste and cutting needless programs. So seeing this get passed probably feels like a huge punch in the face. From there, Elon retweeted a post that said, "This is not Apple, Tesla, or even NVIDIA. I don't know what that is. It's the US national debt, and it's this, graph that obviously it's been just going straight up pretty much over the last few years. And Elon Musk said, "Mammoth spending bills are bankrupting America. Enough." From there, Elon retweeted this tweet from Matt Van Swal. Are you keeping up? Matt tweeted, "Okay, let me just get this straight. The GOP are out there, 1, spending millions on luxury hotels in Ukraine, 2, not voting on any Doge cuts, 3, spending 60% of their time on vacation, 4, not codifying executive orders. Is this the major reform the American people voted for?" And then Elon retweeted that and he said, "In November next year, we fire all politicians who betrayed the American people." And I have heard a lot of people talk about this over the last several months, that it seems like Donald Trump is flying solo in trying to make changes to what has been going on in America, whether it be with the spending, whether it be with legislation, whether it be with cutting needless programs, in trying to get America in the right direction, whereas Congress seems to have been doing nothing. So I do want to make things very clear that pretty much any improvements we have seen so far can be credited to Donald Trump, people that he personally selected, and Elon Musk. I don't feel like the Republican Congress can take any credit for the things that we have been able to move forward on at all. And that has been a huge frustration. So these are all frustrations that I don't think anybody is going to disagree with. And then this was a tweet from back in 2013 that Elon retweeted. It says, "I cannot believe the Republicans are extending the debt ceiling. I am a Republican and I am embarrassed." And then Elon Musk retweeted that and it says, "Wise words." So clearly a very pointed message that he's trying to send there. So after that, this is where the mudslinging really started to happen. These were a couple of tweets from Donald Trump over on Truth Social. It says, Elon was wearing thin. I asked him to leave. I took away his EV mandate that forced everyone to buy electric cars that nobody else wanted, that he knew for months I was going to do, and he just went crazy. And then in the next post, he said, the easiest way to save money in our budget, billions and millions of dollars, is to terminate Elon's governmental subsidies and contracts. I was always surprised that Biden didn't do it. And I can't disagree with Trump on cutting the EV mandate, because I think, people should, if they want to buy an electric vehicle, they should, but I don't want to be forced to purchase one. I'm not against electric vehicles, but for all of the traveling that my family does, for all of the driving I do for my freelance business, having an electric car makes zero sense at all. So it's just not something that would ever make sense for my family, but I appreciate people who drive them, totally fine. And again, not affordable for a lot of us. So then, of all of this stuff that that Elon Musk was saying about the bill, Trump said in this conference, when being asked about what Elon was saying, that Elon was aware of this bill, that he knew about it more than anybody else.
Elon knew this from the beginning. He knew it for a long time ago. That's been in there. That's been, I would say, JD, that hasn't changed. That's been right from the beginning. Mr. Secretary, that hasn't changed at all, right from the beginning. But I know that it disturbed him. He wanted, and rightfully, he recommended somebody from that he, I guess, knew very well. I'm sure he respected him, but to run NASA, and I didn't think it was appropriate. And he happened to be a Democrat, like totally Democrat. And I say, look, we won. We get certain privileges, and one of the privileges, we don't have to appoint a Democrat.
In response to this, Elon had tweeted that he never saw the bill and that the claim of him knowing what was in it is completely false. Then we get to the next tweet, and I think this is in response to Trump not wanting to put a Democrat in the position of NASA and saying, hey, we won. And then Elon tweeted, without me, Trump would have lost the election. Dems would control the House and the Republicans would be 51-49 in the Senate. You guys starting to feel like we're in the middle of like a high school fight, like high school drama, cat fight a little bit here? Well, if you're feeling like that, it only gets worse from here, because that is when Elon dropped the bomb that was heard around the world. He said, time to drop the really big bomb. Real Donald Trump is in the Epstein files. That is the real reason they have not been made public. Have a nice day, DJT. That whole statement is giving like revenge teen drama. Like, oh yeah, she slept with half the football team. Like that's kind of what comes to mind. But it doesn't stop there. That is when Donald Trump posted this. He says, I don't mind Elon turning against me, but he should have done so months ago. This is one of the greatest bills ever presented to Congress. It's a record cut in expenses, $1.6 trillion, and the biggest tax cut ever given. If this bill doesn't pass, there will be a 68% tax increase and things far worse than that. I didn't create this mess. I'm just here to fix it. This puts our country on a path of greatness. Make America great again. So that is kind of what I am aware of as the back and forth between these two. And it does seem like there is a legitimate falling out. But before we figure out whether or not this is real, of course, one of the biggest things we have to address is this accusation and the implications of the accusation of saying Trump is on the Epstein files. Because this is obviously something that we are all aware of, that Trump's name would be in the Epstein files. This is something that we've known for a long time. Nobody is denying that Trump knew Epstein and that he associated with Epstein and that they ran in the same circles. We knew that his name would be mentioned. But just like the Diddy case, mentioning a name is not the equivalent of wrongdoing or a crime. A name could be brought up for any number of reasons. So I thought that this tweet was particularly interesting. It says, Jeffrey Epstein's lawyer confirms that Epstein had no damaging information on Trump. Elon Musk needs to publicly admit that in a fit of rage, he lied about Donald Trump. He needs to apologize to Trump. This is the tweet by David Schoen. It says, I was hired to lead Jeffrey Epstein's defense as his criminal lawyer 9 days before he died. He sought my advice for months before that. I can say authoritatively, unequivocally, and definitively that he had no information to hurt President Trump. I specifically asked him. Now, I'm not sure that Elon would have to apologize for that or feel like he overstepped any boundaries, because all he said was that his name was in the Epstein files. He didn't say that a crime had been committed. And I think that we are supposed to take maybe some implication from that, perhaps there were crimes committed. Maybe that's what he was trying to say to us. And that's probably what he's hoping most people will get from that message. But he didn't say that outright. This also is a video from independent journalist Liz Crokin, and she's responding to Elon's claims that Trump is in the Epstein files, and she outlines all of the reasons, again, that we already know this is true.
Reason why Elon is saying that President Trump is in the files, well, first of all, the reason why he's saying it is because it's true. President Trump would be in those files because guess what? He is on some of the flight logs going back through like over 3 decades, right? That's number one. That's a fact. We know that for sure. That's been out there, public record, right? So he'd be in those files because of the flight logs, number one. Number two, we know that he would be in those files because President Trump is in the black book, okay? And then number three, we also know that he probably would be in those files because who started the investigation into Jeffrey Epstein? It was Jeff Sessions, who was working under President Trump's direction during his first term. So the real reason why Jeffrey Sessions started the investigation was because of Trump.
We already know that if there had been anything incriminating in those files against Trump, the Democrats would have released it a long time ago. They would have burned what they needed to burn and just released what they needed to tie him to Epstein. I think they also wouldn't have had to use someone like E. Jean Carroll to make up this long story, this unhinged story about him supposedly being some kind of predator, dirty old man. They would have had something with evidence to drop based on his activity with Epstein, and that would have made their job a lot easier instead of having to manufacture this narrative. This was a video posted by an account called The Older Millennial, and I appreciated his take on kind of this revelation and what it could mean if the implications are true or if it's not.
I was just chilling by the pool, but then Elon Musk went and said this, and holy Elon Musk says, time to drop the really big bomb. Donald Trump is in the Epstein files, and that is the real reason they have not been made public. Have a nice day, DJT. I'm sorry, what? I really hope Elon has some evidence to back that up. And let me just be clear about this. If he does have evidence and Donald Trump is in those files and we find out he was on that island or he was doing anything to anyone, I want him removed from office immediately, and I want him prosecuted along with everyone else in those files. However, if this is Elon just trying to be a smartass, bro, this is gonna end your career. This will result in the largest libel lawsuit in the lawsuits. You're gonna lose your platform, your companies, probably every you have. However, if you have no evidence whatsoever to back this up, yeah, Elon, you're gonna need some lawyers. Like, a lot of them.
And I think that we can all agree that if there was truly predatory behavior going on by Trump with Epstein's victims, we all want to know about it. But I don't think that there is anybody that actually believes that's the case, except for probably unhinged libs who believe everything that they're told about Trump as long as it's negative, and they never look into or care if it's true as long as it gives them an excuse to hate him. But no one with a speck of sanity actually believes this for a number of reasons. But people are also heavily speculating that this feud between Trump and Elon Musk could be completely fake altogether. I want to go back to this video of Liz because she goes into her theory about why she thinks all of this is completely fake.
So what was the incentive? Like, why did Elon Musk say this? This was bait. What Elon Musk and Trump were trying to do is they were trying to get the Democrats to call for the release of the Jeffrey Epstein files. And it's already worked. It's worked already beautifully. There's already Democrat verified accounts calling for the release of the Epstein files. Like Eric, like bang, 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 whatever, Swalwell, he's already calling for the release of the Jeffrey Epstein files, right? And furthermore, this puts a bigger spotlight on Jeffrey Epstein and the release of those files. And when those files do come out, which will now be at the demand of Democrats and all the NPC libtards with TBS, they're going to start demanding for the release of the Epstein files because they're so stupid. They still think that President Trump, was a co-conspirator of Jeffrey Epstein or one of the clients, which we in the MAGA community know is not true. So, but here's the point I wanted to make that I haven't tweeted about yet. Trump has done this before, and this is not the first time he's on the fake feuds. He did it with Jeffrey Sessions. But here's something else that I want to point out that's important and it's relevant to this. When Jeffrey Epstein was arrested, I firmly believe that when President Trump became president, the reason why he brought Alex Acosta, who is the person from Florida who gave Jeffrey Epstein the infamous sweetheart deal from the first time he was arrested, I believe that President Trump brought him in because he damn well knew that Alex Acosta actually did give him, Epstein, the sweetheart deal. And I believe that President Trump strategically brought him in knowing that, because Trump could foresee and knew that the fake news would not cover the arrest and takedown of Jeffrey Epstein if they couldn't tie Epstein to him and his administration. So I believe that Trump did that on purpose, so then the media would be forced to report on it because they hate Trump, obviously, and they would only report on it if they could tie it back to Trump. So by having Alex in there, that's how President Trump played 5D chess to get the media to report on Epstein. And now he's using this fake feud with Elon Musk, who's saying Trump's in the files. He didn't say he's in there as a pedophile client or as a co-conspirator. He just says he's in there. He's using that as bait to get the Democrats to call for the release of the Epstein files, and then also to get the media to report on it.
Now, if this is a plot to get the Democrats to demand the release of the Epstein files, it's worked. Because, I mean, there are a bunch of tweets saying, kill the bill, release the Epstein files. This is from the Democrats, kill the bill, release the Epstein files. Democrats saying, what is Trump hiding? Release the Epstein files. So this might be one big plot to get the Democrats to demand the release of the Epstein files and to get the media to cover it. Because if that is what's going on, then it's working. I do at the same time think that Elon's frustrations with the big beautiful bill and this another spending package being passed, I think that those frustrations are real. I don't necessarily think that it would be enough for him to completely blow up his friendship and association with Donald Trump and the Republican Party, but we will see. If this is a legit fight, I think the only logical next step would be this.
Catch me outside, how about that?
Either way, it goes without saying that we can absolutely appreciate everything that Elon Musk has done to help the Republican Party and to restore free speech and to help Trump. And while I completely disagree with him saying that Trump wouldn't have won without Elon's help, buying Twitter was obviously monumental, and so much of his efforts have been huge in getting our country back on track. And a lot of it has come at a cost, a massive cost to him. And I do hope that if they are really, truly mad at each other right now, that they can figure things out and work together in the future. Because unlike unhinged libs, when people disagree on the right, we don't go burn things down. We're not going to attack anybody. Nobody's going to firebomb a Tesla dealership. Fighting and conflict does not put a smile on our face. Unlike liberals, we encourage a conversation and resolution and finding common ground and finding a way to work through our differences. But that is all I have for you in this one. I would love to hear all of your thoughts on this in the comments below. Do you think it's real? Do you think it's fake? Why or why not? And if there is a custody battle, who do you want to live with, Trump or Elon Musk? Appreciate you guys so much for being here. Please hit the thumbs up button on this video. And again, subscribe to my channel. I appreciate you so much in helping me grow this channel. If you would like to support my channel in other ways, there is a Buy Me a Coffee link in the pinned comment below, and everything is so truly appreciated. Other than that, keep it real, guys, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.